There you go. That's perfect.
Hey everybody.
Hi there.
How you doing?
We have a special guest today.
This is Jibe.
Say hi. Oh,
he's gone.
And he's gone.
We are in Biddeford, Maine, visiting Shere's dad for the week. For those of you that don't know, it's beautiful here. It's snowing. It's Maine. It's cold, and we're just hanging out for a week.
It's good.
Working out and hanging out with her dad. And yesterday we went to CrossFit down in Portsmouth, and it was wonderful. We love dropping in at gyms.
This is
Got lots of compliments.
You're gonna be distracting.
But it's fun just to drop in and keep it exciting and keep it fun. I know we talk about it all the time.
Change of scenery.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it was good.
So, Shere got a new job. We'll just
Yep.
update you on our lives quick because it's fun. Shere got a new job. Talk about it.
So I'm working at the med center, helping them kind of do, it's a contract position for the med center, doing medical equipment transportation, managing a team there. So it should be fun.
Yeah, she was at LA Fitness and really wanted to get out of sales. Wanted to be in the fitness industry, but LA Fitness was not where it was at. So we're just gonna mix that up. She's trying to align her life with her goals a little bit, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. I am going part-time in the new year to start personal training and coaching, so that's exciting. Really excited about that. That's to help me get to my goals too. Jibe, you're not helping.
He's being good though.
Okay, I think you can still see me. So let's start there. Let's talk about goals and goal setting and where we want to be in 6 months and a year. Just to give an example.
You go first.
Okay, so for me, we are officially sending a team to regionals, so that's exciting. A Gamma team, officially a 4-person team. So my goal is to go to regionals and have fun doing it and still qualify as an individual. That's always been my goal. Always will be my goal, and I'm not going to train any differently. Maybe a little bit different focus, but I'll still train just as hard. I still want to make top 20 in the region as a personal goal. But we have agreed to send a team. As long as everybody comes through, we're still looking for some alternates, maybe for backup, but we have all committed to that, so that's exciting for the Gamma community. Job-wise, I want to be self-employed in a year. So from there, I have to back out and look at 6 months from now and 3 months from now and make smaller goals. Some of my smaller goals are to start programs for high schoolers and sports teams and just individuals in general as life improvement coaching. So like for someone who's maybe just lost and confused, maybe I can inspire them using my story and unique talent of personality.
Yeah.
To start inspiring people to want to be better people, and then use Olympic lifting as a platform to give people confidence about themselves and an outlet for their misguided aggression as high schoolers. So those are some of my goals. Let's talk about her goals, and then we'll talk about how we get to goals and what they should look like.
Well, we already talked about this. My 6-month goal is to have a boxer. That's a very important goal for me. And then my year goal, I don't know if it's really kind of planned out at this point. It's really just, I want to get back to focusing on my workouts and improving in that area because I was really rushed when I had this last job. I didn't spend a lot of time developing myself, and that area kind of went into neglect. Like I didn't spend a lot of time doing the things I am used to doing, like spending more time at the gym and spending more time kind of self-development, more time relaxing, more time meditating. So I want to get back to doing that. And I also want to spend more time with my family. I think that's the ultimate goal, is to spend time with the people that I love because I realized how important that is. So I want to make sure that there's quality time devoted to that over the next 6 to 8 months, and then from there, obviously I would like to be self-employed within the next 5 years, but that's a whole nother goal.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, you have to keep the picture in mind. We were talking a little bit about keeping goals aligned with your self-worth or personal character or beliefs and values. So what that means for me, when I quit my job at the concrete plant, this was like 3 years ago, quit my job to go back to school, and my goal was I want to be making X amount of dollars in 5 years. And while that goal made a lot of sense to me logically, it didn't align with who I was as a person. So I went to school and I had this number in mind. And I was like, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to make $50,000 a year. I'm going to graduate, I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to make $50,000 a year. And I graduated and I didn't get a job where I was making that, but I got a job that fulfilled me in a lot of other ways. The work life was great. They understand CrossFit. They support my goals CrossFit wise and athletic wise and business wise. I mean, they're allowing me to go part time and they're very flexible in that aspect. So I didn't make that goal of making this much money when I graduated college, but in the end, I learned a more valuable lesson of aligning goals with what you want on a deeper level. So now my goals of being self-employed are more in line with what I want to do with my life rather than what I'm going to get from a job. So go ahead and we'll talk about so even the goal of getting a boxer, I mean, we want a puppy, of course, but it has to be in line with everything else we want to do. So that's why we don't have a dog already, obviously. But now we're getting to the point where working less hours, Cher was working a lot more hours. Now she'll be working less hours. So those goals all align with our life mission. Even learning skills at the gym. So go ahead and talk about learning skills a little bit. What skills you want to learn and how that's going?
Well, it's not going at this point. I think that over the last year, I went and looked at the goals that I had set on the board at CrossFit, and I still have the exact same goals, and I haven't been able to cross any of them off my list. So that's kind of discouraging. But again, I am now refocusing on that, and I think the bigger picture is we took some time to do other things that were goals in my life, and I have to be grateful for that. So you can't kind of have 50 goals and think that you're going to achieve them all simultaneously, because it's just not going to happen. There needs to be like a prioritization that goes on in your life that can help you kind of refocus that and look at the bigger picture, because I think a lot of times people get focused in the day-to-day and what's happening now versus what I need to have happen, and then they kind of just get jumbled up. And for me, it was all about kind of realigning that process. So we obviously took some time off from training to do the house, and that was a huge project. And then with the job, I did that, so we could kind of get the house under control and everything, but I neglected a lot of sleep and training and a lot of things. So I kind of had to, there was a lot of
friends and family.
Yeah, friends and family. So there was a lot that kind of emotionally got involved in that. But I was, trying to look at the bigger picture, and we were making progress, and I just wasn't really seeing it the way that I should. So it was a really good kind of reality check for reprioritizing things and being able to look at kind of the bigger picture. And I think that a lot of people get lost in the glamour of goal setting. So hey, like Jared said, I want to make $50,000, or I want to have this title, or I want to drive this car, or they don't really understand what makes them happy. Is having that money gonna make us happy? I know for me that money is an essential part of life, but it's not gonna make me happy. It's not gonna guarantee my happiness, because I've been there, and I was probably in the most depressive state in my life when I had the most amount of money. So I mean, it's really I had to reprioritize my goals early on. And that's, honestly, when I found that family was a huge thing for me. And I don't honestly care how much I make, as long as I'm around my family and close to my family. That's a very important piece to me. So every goal that I set has to be in line with that value. So as I said, that's why I made the ultimate decision to leave LA Fitness, is because I was not spending the time that I needed to be with my family. And it was a huge deterrent in my life. It kind of, I was really kind of depressed throughout that process, and not only family, but even like friends at the gym, I think are a very essential piece of my happiness too. And so I did realize when I came back to the gym, like, oh man, like these guys are very important to me and like my overall happiness. So again, just realigning your values or being clear on your values before you're setting your goals, I think is essential. Like, what do I stand for? What's important to me? Like, when I get that car or that job or that house, like, will that really make me happy? Like, what truly makes you happy? I think a lot of people neglect to spend time in that kind of gray space of defining what happiness is to them.
And it might be a car. I mean, that's just,
right.
For some people, it might be those things, and you just have to really figure out what that is for you and what makes you tick. Two things, before we get too far, I want to talk about skills, because one of Shere's goal was skills, and I want to talk about creating space to find inner peace. So when you're going and you're busy and you're doing day-to-day things, it's really hard to have the creative capacity to come up with new ideas and new thoughts and feelings. That's one of the focuses of our vacation right now. Like, we're just really getting away to create space and figure out the next steps in our lives and revitalize our energy so that we can be more specifically focused on the things that we want to do. Back to the skills part, which is one of the things Shere wants to focus on in the next 6 months. Skills are tough. People very badly want to learn. I mean, this is specific to CrossFit and like learning skills, and they require like a very specific focus. So when you're building strength, or you're increasing your endurance or your cardio, you're pretty much just pounding and grinding, whereas skills are more of a finesse, they're more of a creativity, they're more of a learned skill. So you have to attack them a lot differently. So if I'm going to work on a skill, I know that I'm going to need a little bit quieter, I need a lot more coffee, and I need like a lot calmer environment to learn a skill a lot of times. So like muscle up specifically, I like to go in and maybe just have a few people there or just go off in my own corner. Whereas like if I'm going in to do a Fran, I'd love a lot of people there yelling. So that's just kind of like a sidebar on skills. Sometimes you need to think about what that's going to look like. So along with goal setting and looking to the future, instead of just saying, hey, like this is my goal and this is what I want, and then it's always good to like break out, steps to get there. But another way to look at it is, what do I want my day-to-day life to look like in 6 months? So instead of looking at what you want, look about how you want to go about it. So for instance, like a skill or, something like that, like what do I want my life to look like in 6 months? Maybe it's, I want to wake up and I want to meditate for a half hour and stretch. I want to eat breakfast. I want to meet with some clients. I want to work out in the afternoon, and I want to meet with more clients in the evening. That's a very specific vision for a day-to-day 6 months down the road. Share, for instance, give an example of what you want your day-to-day to look like in 6 months.
I would love to wake up and be surrounded by puppies.
Okay.
That would be a great goal.
That's a good goal.
Oh, look, it's happening
already!
It's
a puppy! Hi! Here, a puppy. Say hi to everybody. They're over here.
No, but realistically, I'd just like to have a plan, like a more structure. Like, so, hey, obviously, I don't want to have to work the rest of my life, but I understand that I probably will need to. So, finding time for that. And then, being able to attack everything that I need. So, again, the whole meditating and spending time with family, I think, and planning that out is important. So, I guess that's kind of what my day would look like. Similar to what it looks like now, just more time for the gym and more time to meditate, just planned into my day.
Yeah, I think it's important to separate like work days from weekend. There are so many variables in that, but it's good to just sit down and think about like what you want, how you want to act in situations versus just that this is what I want in the end. And it's a good visualization technique, as well as planning and preparing for situational awareness. What else were we going to talk about?
Just can't focus. I'm sorry. He's so funny.
This is Jibe.
What's he doing? What are you doing?
She is a white golden retriever, right?
Right, yeah.
A white golden retriever. She's so pretty.
He.
Oh yeah, Jibe. It's a boy.
It's a boy.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, I think that we kind of touched on it. It was just the whole goal setting, and you kind of touched on it for a hot second, was the whole spending time with yourself to really kind of define that. I think a lot of people that we've talked to recently don't even spend 5 minutes with themselves to even think about like what my goals are, what my plan is for the week. I think, and that's a huge piece that's lacking in just society in general, is being able to spend time and be okay spending time with yourself. So I know for me, like, I never wanted to spend time with myself. I didn't like who I was as a person. I couldn't sit for more than 5 minutes and think about myself because it would just be depressing. And now I've gotten to the point where I absolutely love it. You know, obviously everyone pretty much knows that I'm a huge believer in meditating, and it's an important thing to me. Yeah.
I mean, meditating and praying along the same lines. It's all about creating space and talking through situations and thinking about your actions
on your own,
and a quiet space to process thoughts and feelings. It's all a good practice to come closer to yourself.
So I think that's an important step, is just being able to spend time with yourself to realize what you want and what you value.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that it?
That's
all
it.
you want to talk about?
Yeah,
okay.
That sounds good.
Sorry, we were I was kind of distracted by the puppy, but you guys know me well enough to know that happens very easily.
It's okay.
So I just really like puppies. Yeah. And he doesn't look like a puppy, but he is actually only 9 months.
Only 9 months. Here,
9 months.
Oh, you got a toy.
You
got a toy.
And we love him. He is great.
Look
he
how
does
cute
not
he is.
Look like a puppy anymore. He's
so big. He's so big.
So maybe we'll be more focused next time if he's not around.
Until next time.
Bye.
Stay healthy, friends.